Let's make some breakfast. I think it's about breakfast time, 11 o'clock here. But today, we'll give everybody a couple of seconds to get in. I think I was actually a couple minutes late today. Let's move that around. Straighten that up. There we go. Get a good view of the KitchenAid. I'll get connected to the chat. And we'll get started. I just have to log out here. And log back in. Just refresh my screen. Alright, Greg Hart, can you hear and see me okay? I will wait here patiently for your response, because you might be the only one in here so far. But good morning to you. Good to see you. Hopefully we are live. According to my computer, I'm not live. So, hey Rusty, what's going on, buddy? How are you? How's your stuff turn out? I had to step away and go water my garden real quick. But how'd your smash burgers turn out? Yeah, we're doing, according to the manager at my local Casey's, we are doing, we're going to make the nation's #1 breakfast pizza. So, and to me it's #1. I super dig it. I love that stuff. Let's see, I think it would have been better without the peanut butter. But all in all, it wasn't a bad attempt at something different. Is that what you guys were making? Using like, what do you call them? Oh, what are those things called? Crustables or something? Crustable smash burgers? Is that what you guys were up to? Okay, let's get this on here. Let's get our dough hook on here. But overall, this isn't a bad thing to put together. It's just, I can't prep, you gotta prep it as you go, kind of. So, uncrustable cheeseburgers, oh, okay. Or unsistable, crystable. Something like, I get what you're saying, yeah. But yeah. The combinations you guys come up with, that's something else. It's that early in the morning. I think it'd be, I don't think I've ever had a, I don't think I've ever had a crustable to be, and not to be snobby, I don't think I've ever had one. I just gotta open my closet up. I gotta get a couple paper plates down, which I forgot to do. Been kind of running behind a little bit this morning. Because this was sometimes on the easy recipes, I don't prepare like I should because I think it's gonna be pretty easy, but, good morning, Zoe. How are you? Good Sunday morning to you. My fat finger's on a little keyboard misspelled. Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, I had the same problem. But yeah, sometimes I don't prep enough for it. So, but there's not, I don't know. It's got to be done in kind of steps. But the cool part is the crust we're going to make today is a 2-ingredient pizza crust that doesn't have to proof. Now, that being said that it doesn't have to proof, maybe going to a party. Oh, there you go, Rusty or Zoe. That's super cool. But one of the things about that is that you got to treat it a little different. So you can't do the spinny, fun stuff with pizza dough. You just you got to press it out. It doesn't have as much structure, but we'll be using not all-purpose flour. What do we got here? Self-rising flour. We got some self-rising flour that we're going to use, and some plain yogurt, and that's going to be the 2 main ingredients. But I made this yesterday to give it a go, and the thing about it is that you can't just go, if you want 2 ingredient, if you just go 2 ingredient with it, it kind of tends to not have a lot of flavor. So the crust comes out good, but at the same time, the rest of it, the flavor's a little lacking. So today I'm going to add a little extra salt to it and some garlic powder and kind of spruce it up a little bit. So that's how we're going to do that. Let's see. So we got this going. And let me get my plain yogurt out. That's the other thing. It's super hot in here today. So I've had to, anything that was going, I have to keep everything refrigerated. And it's like, I don't know, I think it's like 400 degrees in my kitchen now that I've opened the door. So anyway, but what we're going to be using today is we've got a Lodge #9 round griddle. If you don't have one of these and you're into cast iron, get one. It's definitely worth it. That's what we'll be making the pizza on. We're going to make a 9-inch pizza. And then the other thing we got, we're going to be using our Pickle Favorite-Ware #8. And we're going to be using a #6 Desco-ware from the 60s, enameled. Love this thing. Love this thing. The Ace Frehley pan, as I call it. So, without further ado, we've been doing this about 5 minutes, so let's go ahead and get started. Yeah, pizza party. Yeah, it's a birthday party. Oh, it's going to a birthday party. Very nice. I take it it's not your birthday, though. Okay, so what we're going to start out with, and this dough is going to take, it's going to have to, one of the things about it is it has to rest when you do a yogurt. Yeah, did I say that already? Yeah, we're going to be using plain yogurt today. And if you're, with plain yogurt like this is all natural dairy made yogurt. It's from the dairy right outside of town. They make it on site out there. And if you're going to use Greek yogurt, it's going to be thicker. So and then if you use just plain regular yogurt, it's going to be thinner. So if you're using, like today, we're going to be doing a 2-to-1. So we're going to be doing 2 cups of flour to 1 cup of yogurt. And that's pretty much your standard recipe when you're working with a yogurt bread or pizza dough or anything like that. If you're using yogurt as your liquid, and this stuff is even how do I say it, thinner. It's a lot thinner than say, a Greek yogurt, and even thinner than the yogurt, say, that you would get from the grocery store. It just is. It has all the whey in it, and that's one thing you can do if you want it to be thicker. Just strain the whey out. Just run it through a strainer. But today I'm not going to bother with that. I'm going to set this off to the side here. I'm going to move this camera back just a smidge so everybody can kind of see everything just a little bit better, and you can get a shot of my snazzy Hawaiian t-shirt. My nouns have escaped me this morning. I'm just going to set that off to the side. And there is a method to my madness with this, why I'm putting that onto the paper plate. One, I want the yogurt onto the bottom. And I got to get a spoon real quick. I've had to move my seasoning rack off my counter, so I had more room this morning, but now I'm pressed up against the camera and the table. So we want to use a cup of the plain yogurt. And you can see that in this is natural yogurt, so you got to kind of stir it just a little bit to get the solids. Y'all see that really well? Just kind of strain that off to the side to get the solids out of there. Well, normally if I was going to eat this, I would blend this up so it doesn't look so unappetizing. This is why my kids don't like this stuff. My kids absolutely will not eat the yogurt from the dairy, but I do. See, so let's get a cup of that in there. Might end up using the whole thing and then just adding a little bit more flour to it. But that's one thing you got to kind of play. You got to kind of play with this a little bit. So there, I had exactly 1 cup left. So I did, yeah. So like I said, I did this yesterday. You can throw this thing away. Don't need that. So, and I want to start with the yogurt on the bottom, kind of like anything else. That way it mixes up right. But this turned out really good. And if you've never had Casey's bacon breakfast pizza, you were sadly missing out. So we'll put you over here back to this, and then we'll put this in there. And I want to put that down to the bottom. Now, before I forget, because I'm probably going to forget, I'm going to want to add just about 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. Like I said, I didn't prep super well for this, because I don't see my garlic powder. Why do I not see my garlic powder? It's something I use constantly. But anyway, I have a bowl of it up here. So we're going to throw about a half a teaspoon of garlic powder into there. That's going to make a difference. And then I'm also going to use about 1 teaspoon. I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning to this. Oh, how do I want to do that? Pour it. Or I could just grab all the seasonings, all the herbs I have hanging up over by the patio door. There's just a plethora, but I'm going to use about a teaspoon of that. Teaspoon of the Italian seasoning. And then I'm going to add a half a teaspoon, roughly, of salt. There we go. And a teaspoon of salt. We'll put that to the liquid part so we know that it mixes up in there really nicely. Alright, we got that part done. Bye, I gotta go. See you, Zoe. Have a good day. Let's see here. And then for this, I'm going to start mixing this. I'm going to add, I'm going to add just a little bit of the flour. Just a little bit at a time. There we go. About that much. And then I'm going to add this as I go so it incorporates nicely. Lock this down. Turn this on to about medium. And all the kneading is going to be done in there. I'm just going to have to shape it when it's all finished. That's going to be the only thing. And I'm going to have to scrape the sides as I go too. So this is kind of the boring part. Check the comment section. And then we're going to add just a little bit more of the flour. Just a little bit more. I like to do it this way so I can bend that in, and I'm not just kind of messing with the cup. And I can only use 1 cup, so we'll get that mixed around off to the side. Get that into there. But yeah, the one thing about this that I didn't like with yesterday's, when I was making this yesterday, is that crust was really boring. Like it was just, it almost tasted like an unsalted biscuit, and that's not cool. So get you guys on there a little better view. Joe said hi, hello. Cheesecake bake. Not this morning. We're doing breakfast pizza this morning. Cheesecake does sound good. I've been wanting to make cheesecake. I got about the last of my rhubarb is ready to go, and I'm thinking I want to try a rhubarb cheesecake, like a rhubarb strawberry. So I've got 1 strawberry plant that puts out about 10 or so strawberries a week. So that'd probably give me just about enough to make a cheesecake. Stop that real quick. Go and scrape the sides down. And get that in there. There we go. Turn it back on. But yeah, the only problem that I like the taste of the yogurt doughs, but the structure just isn't there. Like if you try and do like the pizza flipping and the dough flip and all that kind of stuff, it's just going to tear. That's the one downfall to the whole thing. Add a little bit more. Put that back and dump the rest of this flour in there. There we go. Okay. That part's done, kinda. Lock that down and turn it on. There we go. Hey Joe, where are you going with that gun in your hand? Let's see. Lake Shea Tiffin. What's going on? Mixer's off. Yeah, the mixer is from like I I think it's a 90. It's been around. It's been handed down from a lot of people in my family, to be honest. Knock some of that off. Without getting my hand in there. There we go. Break that up. Turn that off and throw that back in there. There we go. And this is going to be a real sticky dough. So if it comes out sticky when you're trying to do this, but you can use, for this recipe, you can use just about anything. And actually, in Casey's, that's one of the things I do like about Casey's. Surprisingly, for gas station pizza, their dough is pretty good. And they're one of the few places that doesn't use, like it's sort of a high, like a fast food kind of place. They don't use a frozen pizza dough, which is always kind of nice. Okay. All right. And working with your yogurt, depending on what you want, you might, like have to do what I'm getting ready to do, which is add a little bit of dough, and you can kind of just sort of, I don't want to say it, just kind of eyeball it, really. That dough looks a little bit more like pizza dough with the Italian seasoning. But yeah, the crust that I made yesterday was really super plain. So we'll add just gonna add a little bit at a time. I think we're just gonna add about 1/8 of a cup. Just pop that into there. We'll leave this sit up here because I got a feeling I'm gonna need it. And then I just use, so far we're at 2 1/8 cup. There we go. Keep that mixing around. That going in there. I had, in the front, I think you can install a meat grinder. Yeah, and that's the crazy part. That's one of the things I do love about this mixer, is that you can install so many different things. And I have a ton of stuff. And that's the cool thing. You can kind of like, I don't want to say it, just play around with them. Like I have a food processor that I haven't used. I haven't used my food processor in probably 5 years. It just sits on the top of the cabinets in a bag. We're gonna add just a little bit more flour because that is really, add about another 1/8, so we're at 1/4, so we're at 2 1/4 cups. Another 1/8 of a cup into there. Scrape that in. As you can see, the dough is really thick. It's really thin. But that was the bottom part of my yogurt too, so that's where a lot of the weight was concentrated. That's one of the good and bad parts about using all natural products is you got to kind of mess with it a little bit more. But yeah, the meat grinder, they have the meat grinder, they have so many things. And the meat grinder is the one thing that I didn't like that I had for this, and I could never get it to work, was the ice cream maker, because the attachment wouldn't fit onto this one. And I ended up having to take it back because I could never get it to attach right. And I watched You Don't Make Burger Meatballs. You must have talked to somebody else. What is the name of the mixer? Like actual name of it? Oh, and it has a pasta maker too? Yeah, it does have a pasta maker. You're right. I'm just kind of too lazy to make pasta. Pasta making looks fun, but it just, I think I'm just way too lazy to do it. So I'm gonna add another 1/8 of a cup to this. So it'll be 2 3/8 cups so far. And the one thing about this is it's going to have to rest for about a half an hour. That's one thing when working with like, say, a yogurt-based dough, is they do have a rest period that they need to do. But if you're going to make bread with it, the rest period's about 6 hours. But for the pizza dough, it only needs 30 minutes, which that's cool because it just gives us time to make like the toppings and stuff, and that's what we're going to do here next. We're just going to make the toppings real quick. There we go. Add the other 1/4 cup to this. So we were at 2 1/2. cups, roughly. There we go. And then that's going to be all I'm going to need. I'm sure that's going to be all we're going to need for that. There we go. Oh. And I have the one attachment that I should have broke out is I have the thing that goes on the side that keeps everything in there. I should have broke that out. There we go. It's starting to form up now. Scoop that down into there. There we go. Yeah, that's what we're looking for. Now it's starting to unstick from the bottom. That's what we're wanting. Want that kind of set up that way. Turn that up. When you make the bread dough for this, normally you'd make, if you'd use a dough hook, you'd use your lowest speed to make your bread when you're using like bread flour, all-purpose flour. But when you're using the yogurt in it, you want the higher speeds. We're going to give it real quick. And then it's going to be done. There we go. We're done. That's it. So we're just going to scrape that, add a little bit more flour as we go to kind of help it ball up. But it's super easy. You don't have to sit and let things, you can have it, you can make it and then eat it. So we're going to throw just a little flour on top of there. If you can see it, it's still kind of, it's a sticky dough. But that's not anything to be worried about. Because when we flour it up, it'll work out. But it's not going to be one, like I said, you're not going to be able to, do the throwing the pizza in the air, the dough in the air and having it pull. And you just kind of place it onto the pan that you're going to use. And that's it. So here we go. All right. I'm just going to take a little bit. We're going to take this off, move that out of the way, move this out of the way, and we'll put the bonnet on that. Let's see. Oh, I'm missing the comment section. Sorry, guys. How does an awesome show every Sunday and Thursday? Yeah. I gotta watch it. Yeah, please do. Yeah, and we are so close to 500 subscribers. I think when I jumped on here today, I think it said I needed like six or seven to get 500, and then I can throw my links up and add moderators. So if anybody wants to help me out with subbing today, that would be absolutely appreciated. So let's see. Let's throw the bonnet on there. We don't need the flour. We don't need the all-purpose or the self-rising flour anymore. Everything else I'm going to do, I'm just going to use the all-purpose flour for that. That's why that's sitting back there. Let me get that into there. Scrape that off and remove my dough hook. I don't need that anymore. And since I'm working in such a tight spot, we'll just. And this is going to be enough for that little bit right there, 2.5 cups and 1 cup of yogurt is going to be enough for about a 16-inch pizza. I'm actually going to cut this in half and make a 9. So, or no, a 14-inch. Yeah, about a 14-inch pizza. But I'm going to cut mine in half because I'm just going to make a personal. Then we're going to put that into the refrigerator to rest. I do want to keep it refrigerated. I'm going to move the camera out in my way, just a smidgen. You guys can look at that cup, because that's so exciting. And we're going to move some stuff around. We're going to move some stuff around here on the stove. I'm going to move this to, actually, I'm going to need 2 oven mitts for this. 2 handle mitts. So we got this one, slide that onto here, and slide this one onto here. That way we got both of them. And away we go. Awesome. Awesome. Paper towel to wipe that out. Please subscribe, India. Yeah, please subscribe. Like I said, we're so close. This channel is We haven't been around that long doing live streams. Actually, and I never thought, to be honest, that I would do any kind of cooking on the show. I was just going to do restoration tips and cast iron history, things like that. But it's turned into, started out with, you know, a few views, and then it just kind of took off, and then people started showing up. So it's actually been a pretty fun ride to watch it grow. Let's see, the message is held for the reviewer. Oh, I don't know. I'm not going to review it right now. I let you guys kind of self-moderate until I get some moderators. Until I get a couple. But we're going to start out with, let me rinse this cup out. Because, like I said, that's the one drawback to doing this one today, this live, is that everything, it's so damn hot in here with the door open. And I didn't want to run my air conditioning because I knew the kitchen was going to get crazy hot. I didn't want to run the AC. So we didn't run the AC today. And it is like, it's got to be, once I do find my temperature gauge, I'll take a reading in here. It's got to be 90 degrees in my kitchen right now. So let's start out with, we're going to do our egg first. Get our eggs going in there. And we're just going to use one egg. Oh, I had to turn that off. Don't need to do that. Just need one large egg. Set you right there, little egg. With just a little bit of water in there and a fork to fluff this up. And that's going to be the first thing. Like I said, I'm just making a personal size pizza, so I'm not, you know, you're gonna, to make a bigger one, if you wanted to try this, and I really suggest trying this one out, a little bit splash of water in there to make the eggs a little moist and give them a little bit of fluff, because the eggs on the Casey's pizza, they're actually those kind of ones that come in the carton. The little carton eggs. So they already have, and those kind of seem to be fluffier for some reason. I don't know why they're like that. It must be some kind of something they put into a processed egg to make it so they look fantastic. Like scramblers, you ever see those? The ones that come in the pre-made carton. Just throw a little bit of salt and pepper in there. There we go. But yeah, I never thought I would be doing a cooking show at all when I first started doing videos. And most of the videos, if you ever watched the beginning videos, they were more of asking questions. They weren't even really solving problems. They were more of like, I wanted to know, it was stuff that I put in comments section, like, it's questions I put into the comment sections that I never got answers for when I was collecting cat, you know, and it's turned into being something else. So it's pretty rad. That's what all the cool kids say. They say rad. Let's see. And I hope that, the other thing just popped into my head, I'm hoping that Ma Badger's watching. If everybody could send some good vibes my Ma Badger's way. She's having some back trouble. Has been laid up a couple weeks ago. That's why I know that she might actually be sitting down. And she better be sitting down today. Because she's supposed to be. Because she hurt her back pretty bad. So, send some well wishes her way. And she might actually be watching, because my mom is not one to sit. She's like me. I sit down, I have to make myself sit down at least once a day, because if not, I'll stand the entire day. My mom is, and I do not get this from her, but as soon as she gets up in the morning, she's out the door. She's like up, dressed, out the door. And even if she doesn't have anything to do, she'll find something to do, and she'll go do it and make a day of it. She's constantly on the move. So let's get our spatula over here. And we're only going to need to do these eggs. And this will be like the rest of the stuff we're doing. I'm going to do these in order, sort of, because I don't want to do the bacon and the sausage with the eggs at one time. I'm not doing like an omelet. So bust over here. and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. You guys can see that okay. But I don't have my eggs very high. They're just in between like 2 and 3. And I'm going to do them real slow. And I'm going to try and remember to set my timer for 25 minutes. Because that's how long my... I'm going to start moving these immediately. Oh shoot, I went out. I went way past what I'm doing. I gotta watch what I'm doing. We don't want our eggs to sit. We just want nice, fluffy, not brown. We don't want brown eggs. Don't need them to be anything here to be brown today. Okay. Don't want anything to be brown. So we'll actually turn that off so it quits doing anything. And let me reach over top of you guys for a little beard cam. We're going to chop these up right into here. And really, you just got a lesson on how to make scrambled eggs in cast iron, actually. It doesn't take much. They're done. So there's that. Put those into here. You guys can... I'm going to back you guys up just a little bit. Sorry. I'm going to back you guys off just a smidge. I hate moving that camera, but this is sort of a have to kind of thing. So we got that. Got that there. And then there's our egg. It doesn't take much. We're not making an egg pizza. We're making breakfast pizza. So it doesn't take a lot of eggs to make a personal pizza. Turn that back on because we're going to swap out our water. There we go. Over to the eggs. Faitha. Is that what it says? Fatia. I couldn't clean a cast iron pan to save my life. There's nothing to it. There's nothing to it. You can see there that one, if you have the right techniques, see how I just made an egg in there and there's nothing in it. You can just wipe it out and it's done. That's clean. That's all you got to do. That's it. So then I'm going to take about 4 pieces of bacon that I just happen to have sitting around. And once again, I'm definitely down with this shoulder bacon that I've been using. And we don't want to crispy fry this either. We're just going to kind of get it to where it's done. So shoulder bacon. There we go. This one's not as lean as the last package. The last package was really, really super lean. Let me move this out of the way. There we go. And you can use whatever you want if you don't like bacon. This is the fun thing about making the personal pizzas too, is because you can do whatever you want. A man needs to know all things around the house. Yes, that is 100% true. You need to know all kinds of things. You need to know how to put a light plug in. You need to know how to change a tire and your oil. You should be well-rounded. And that's one thing my dad taught. My mom and I were talking about that yesterday. Is how well-rounded my dad taught us how to be. You had to be well-rounded to get things done. Know how to paint know how to paint your walls. Know how to clean your gutters. Know how to do, the little things. Knowing how to do the little things makes your life a heck of a lot easier. Let me put this bacon up. And like I said, this gives you kind of a minute to, let your stuff rest, let your dough rest while you're kind of, or you can make this stuff ahead of time. I'm just doing it this way to kind of show the process. And once we do this, we'll grind up our cheese. And the cheese today I actually was at the butcher shop on Friday, and I got bacon, cheddar cheese, and some mozzarella. Now at Casey's, they actually use plain cheddar and Monterey Jack. That's their secret. On both. Let's see. Mine too. I missed something. Bringing in. Let's see. Mine too, I'm bringing in 93. Oh, you're born in 93. Oh, yeah. Gotcha, roger that. Okay. But yeah, um, we're gonna grind up some cheese here in a minute. I just want to get all the meat out of the way before I start handling the cheese and getting into that. But you know, it only took me, I think, when I timed myself yesterday just making everything, it only took me an hour and 15 minutes, hour and 10 minutes to make everything start to finish. So that's not bad for, you know, instead of going out and getting pizza in the morning, you can just go and, you know, make yourself a pizza. I mean, but Casey's Pizza is pretty rad. Actually, what I did for years when I was still, when I was working, is I would get Casey's breakfast pizza and a Red Bull every Friday. That was my absolute, that was my go-to. Like every Friday morning, I'd go get a piece of breakfast pizza and a Red Bull, and I only worked half days on Fridays, which was nice. So it was like, I get that stuff browning up a little better. I don't know why that's not browning up. It was running real nice there for a second. It's always something, but you know, live cooking, it is what it is. You can't get too hung up about it. Let's see, Emmanuel, that's not much. No, it's we're just using it for topping, my man. So yeah, Red Bull is not good for your health. One a week's not gonna hurt you. But I switched over to, I switched over to Celsius instead of Red Bull. The real one, the real nasty one, I think, are kind of the Rock Stars and, what's the other one? The Monsters. Monsters. Good God, that's terrible for you. But yeah, sugar-free Red Bull, that's what I got every Friday. The 8 ounce. Let's see. Just a flip. But I want it to be just enough where it's not ham texture. But if you overcook it, why is my pan not getting hot? You'd think with a 90-year-old super thin pan that this would be blasting hot. But it'll give me time to put some pepper on there. Because what's bacon without pepper? That's what I would say. But yeah, that was my Friday routine for ever. Oh no! Oh, I got you. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Because sorry, Emmanuel, my monitor on the wall, it only runs about 4 messages at a time, and then if I look on the other monitor, it gives me what people said, like a little bit more, sort of what you guys see. So yeah, it only, you know, but it takes. I've found that doing these cooking streams that things just tend to take longer because you're trying to convey what you're doing, and you're talking. Like, you know, when I normally do this, I'm not just sitting here talking to myself in my kitchen. And it's funny because the dog comes out here a lot of times and she's wondering who I'm talking to when I do these live streams. Because when I do the streams, there's usually nobody here, nobody in the house. But and I'm surprised because usually at 11 o'clock on, what is going on here? I've got everything all mixed up on this timer. Okay, clock time. What time is it? 11:41. I think I hit clock instead. 11:41. And then for my timer, yeah, that's where I messed up. So I'm going to go 20 minutes on the timer. Because I think I accidentally, because I was paying attention to the eggs, I think I was looking at something else. I hit the clock. There we go. Now we're all set. So yeah, we're getting that. There we go. Let's start to catch some heat. Because I'm not trying to brown it up too much. I don't want it like a crispy bacon because when you put it on there, it'll burn. And we don't want to burn the bacon. Some people like burnt bacon. I'm not in that camp. Let's see, there we go. That's just about, we'll give that about another minute or so on the bacon, and that'll give me time to jump over here, get a little cutting board, sharpen one of the knives. Val's not in here to cornball food in the Big 25. That's funny. Hello, Mercy B. How are you this morning? Good to see you. And good morning to you, cornball. I like that handle. I can't see your avatar. Is it just corn? I see it's yellow. Let's see if I can see it on the other monitor. Yeah, it just looks like corn. Yeah, I'm glad. Mercy, thanks for showing up this morning. Sharpen this knife up just a smidge. I think I've about worn this sharpener out. I think it's about time for another, to hone the knives and get a new sharpener. To sharpen my knives all the time. I'm kind of compulsive about knife sharpening. Some people don't get like that, but I tend to. There we go. That's just, yeah, like I said, just give that a second, and then we'll throw the sausage in. Rick Stunball, good morning, buddy. How are you? Good to see you. If you guys could, everybody, I hope everybody's hitting the like button this morning. That would be fantastic. I'd really appreciate it. Give that a hit. Maybe we'll draw in a few other people to have breakfast with us this morning. The fatty side in the middle. There we go. And I'd say we are just about finished. Yeah, I'd say we're done. So we'll take that off of there, and we'll get another one of our paper plates with a napkin on. And we'll cut that up. Paper plates are wanting to stick together, of course. And we'll cut that up real quick. I feel kind of naked without Val being here, and I'm getting ready to use my, getting ready to cut some stuff up without her warning me not to cut my tips of my fingers off. Oh yeah, paper towel. There we go. Morning, honey, Jay and the Beegs. Thankfully, the Beegs is in the other room sleeping, because she has been underfoot, boy. I don't know what she's been after in this kitchen for the past 3 or 4 days. But she's out, she just is, I don't know, she's been on the hunt for something. And whatever it may be, it's absolutely driving me insane. And there's nothing out here. I've looked under everything, I've looked around everything. I don't know what she's smelling, what she's thinking about, what goes on in her teeny tiny beagle mind. And she has been underfoot. And then this morning she's following me everywhere, which has been even more fun. Let's throw that in there. I got about 2 ounces, 2-3 ounces of sausage, which I'm probably not going to use all that. Tom's Food Factory, what's up, buddy? How are you? Good to see you. I'm going to throw a little bit of fennel seed into this, because this is just plain sausage, unsugared, no maple, no nothing. So we're going to throw a little fennel into there. We're going to add some pepper on top of that. Put you guys back over this way. You can see that. And some sausage, or some pepper onto that sausage with that fennel seed. Supersonic Moose, good morning. What's going on, buddy? Good to see you. Let's see who else. Yeah, all kinds of folks showing up, saying hi. So let's break that up. There we go. Give that a nice breaking up, and then we'll come over here and we will cut up give that a second to fork up, and then we'll do some of this stuff. Cut this stuff up real quick. Get our bowl out for the top. That sausage smells really good. The fennel, if you've got plain pork sausage, I highly recommend fennel seed. Throwing some fennel in there to get it going, because that makes a ton of difference. Ouch, this stuff's so hot. My napkin, there we go. Okay, we can cut some of that fat out of there too. We don't need all that. But I know a little fuzzy dog that likes those trimmings. We'll set those off to the side for her. Let those cool down. And she can come in and get some snacks. Do some tricks when she's not when she's done resting her eyes. After she's been pretty busy being a pest this morning, being pesky. Not really being a pest, but just being pesky. That's what little dogs do. You know, what they do. That's why God invented little dogs, to be pesky. Take that, put those in there. Might have chopped that down a little bit. A little more. More. I think we're going to move that straight off onto this. That's not helping the cause at all. There we go. A little better cutting surface. There we go. Well, we got to have some of the fat in there. Put that part out. Put those up. Use that spot for the beagle pieces. The beagle pieces. And then we'll move on to the cheese sauce next, because that's the secret to Casey's breakfast pizza. It's cheese sauce. They don't use a. I used to think when I first started making this a while back, when I've attempted to make this a while back, I thought they put egg down as their sauce, like you know what I mean, sort of laid like scrambled egg mixture on there. But after minimal research, I found out that they just use cheese sauce. Then I tried, one thing that does not work, because I tried this as well, when I tried making this at one point, is you do not want to use cheese slices. You got to use cheese sauce, or it tastes weird. It doesn't taste the same. Cheese slices are just not, that's not what the cool kids are using. Use that, that, and that. There's our bacon topping. Check our sausage out here. Got it flipped. There we go. Sausage is looking good. I'm gonna have to eat a piece of this. Have a piece of that. Let's see, move you guys over that way. Check out the sausage. Grease up my camera. Oh, there's the beagle. She smells bacon, so she's doing what beagles do. You sleep good? Are you done? Done being out of control? And that's the thing, guys. I don't mind her usually being underfoot the way she is, but when I've got this, I'm always afraid she's going to knock the camera stand over, and then that's going to knock the pan over onto the dog. So that's always my big fear, actually, is to not hurt the dog, because I don't want to take a scalded dog to the veterinarian, or you know, have anything happen to her. Yesterday because she's a pesky, nosy little dog. Yesterday it kind of bit her in the ass because she got stung by a wasp yesterday. First thing in the morning, we went outside to go and handle it. She went to go handle her business first thing in the morning, and she saw a wasp in the pumpkin patch. Shot right at that wasp and stepped right on top of it, and it let out a little bit of a yelp, and so I had to spend 20 minutes, and when you have a crazy little dog that doesn't like to hold still, she did not want me, she didn't understand that I was trying to take the stinger out. She had no idea that that was my intention. She thought she was, I don't know what she thought. I think she was just kind of guarding her paw, really, more than anything, because it hurt. But I never did find a stinger in there, so I don't think it made it into the, actually made it into her foot. I think it just got her. And then we'll take our sausage and we'll put that into our container off to the side, and then we'll turn the heat off of this. We're gonna make our cheese sauce. And I'm gonna do the cheese sauce really low, because you gotta be able to you want to be able to make it to where it's spreadable, but it's not super runny. It's the cheese sauce is kind of tricky, actually. That was the one thing that I ran into. The only real problem that I ran into was the cheese sauce, spreading the cheese sauce, because you got to get that just right. So we'll thin that out. We'll do the cheese sauce and then we'll thin it out and go from there. Okay, so our sides are done. So we'll put those up here along with my water. We don't need, I don't think we need this cutting board anymore. We'll get into another cutting board here at some point, but not right now. Here we go, Beaks Cam. There she is. Getting a little sun. Getting some sun. You want a piece of bacon? You want a piece of bacon? Want some chicken? She just knows chicken. She doesn't know anything else. There we go. Let's see. There we go. Justice, what's going on, buddy? Cast iron pan is the best thing. It is 100%. We are in agreement with that. And I was reading comments. Get a spin? Can I get a spin? There we go. That's what everybody comes here for anyway. But they can never see because you're never far enough back. Here, we'll go this way. Come here. Come here. Over here. She's like, why don't you just move the camera, buddy? Can you kind of work with me a little bit? There you go. And there we go. All right. Beaks Cam. Squirrel Patrol. Yeah. Yeah, Justice is in. Good morning, Justice. How are you? Okay. Look at the patio that I'm going to be out enjoying myself because I will not be in this hot kitchen eating anymore today. I'll tell you that. So we'll back the camera up here. Well, actually, we'll move it up this way so you can kind of see that pan. That's the one we're using next. We'll go ahead and start heating that one. Heat that up. And I'm going to run it at just about in between 2 and 3. I love this little pan. I absolutely love it. It's about a number, what's the centimeter size on it? The centimeter size is an 18 centimeter, or size 18 in Belgian ware, in which those all translate over to like Electricé sizes as well, which would be about a number 3 size in your regular standard normal cast iron. And I say that as I mean it. Because I mean it, normal cast iron. We'll leave that here as well. Okay, so we're going to take our block of Velveeta, which is 4 ounces, by the way. We got 4 ounces block Velveeta right there. Scale weighed Velveeta. And let me see here. And we're going to use 1/8 of a cup. Is that my 1/8 cup? Yeah, 1/8 of a cup of milk to thin that down. And those are extensively, or I should say minimally, these measurements are minimally researched in a lab here in my kitchen. So we've got 3 ounces of farm fresh milk this morning, from Friday, but that's why I did it. So it might come up as looking curdled on your screen, but it's actually the fat content. It's the cream rising to the top. The cream separates in real milk that way. So move that, and we're going to just shred that up. There we go. Little pieces. They melt better. And usually I do this on my block, but I don't feel like moving it back over, so you guys can see the size that I'm using, size chunks that I'm using here. There we go. All right. So we're going to do that, and we got that like on a very, very low heat. And while we do that, well, we got that going on. Mad Badger Laboratory. Yeah, exactly. That's actually the shop. That's where the Mad Laboratory is, where I work up my beard products and the beard scents and all the different things that I do with the Seven Shamrocks Beard Company, making those products. That's what I That's where the mad laboratory actually is. Not so much here. And the cast iron cure when I make the cast iron cure, which I don't have my prop can. It's in there. There we go over the beagle. There we go. You guys can. She can have some bacon. Here, have a little bacon. There you go. Snack time. And she can do that while I get the other stuff out. You get the other stuff out and move some of these things out of my way. Alright. Move this. Move this. And we're going to get another paper towel out. Or a paper plate. There we go. Alright. There, she's having a little bacon this morning. The most spoiled dog in America. One of the most. Let's see. Got one monitor. I hope I don't have trouble here because I got one of my monitors, my camera monitor. It's not catching up with the comments, so I've only got the wall monitor to check out. There we go. We'll get out our cheese and our grinder and grind this out. I'll try and figure out the weight on the cheese that I'm using right now. So we'll move back over to here and we're going to grind our topping cheese because we only got about 3 minutes until our dough is going to be ready to start messing with. Physics guy on PBS years ago that would freeze flowers in liquid nitrogen. Yeah, what was that? Was that Bill? That wasn't Bill Nye, was it? Oh, that one guy. Yeah, he always wore the blue shirt, like a uniform. He had like a work uniform on. Wore the same clothes every week. That guy was cool. That guy was pretty cool. I remember that guy. Let's see. So we got a block of mozzarella that we're gonna shred up. I need to get one of those cool. Next time I'm at the antique store, I need to look for one of those super cool, the old timer, the four-sided shredders. That is one thing I do not have. And if you know, it actually, my mixer, if I wanted to break out, if I had the chance to break out, if I would have been cool and thought about it actually, to break out the cheese grater attachment that I have for my mixer. Because there is a cheese grater attachment, and I just so happen to have it. So try it. We'll go this way. That might be a little easier. There we go. But it's not going to take a lot for this, for breakfast pizza, to be super honest. Just grind that up. Because we're down to about 2 minutes till the dough's done. Which, man, that really, I mean, you got to kind of, dress up the dough to give it a little taste. But a 30-minute dough is nothing. It's definitely not a bad deal, I don't think. Let's see, how we doing? How are we looking? A little bit more. There we go. But yeah, I wish I had one of those ones that stood up. Little cheese graters. Like I said, if I'd have been cool, I would have just put the attachment, got my attachment. But I got boxes. I have literally boxes of attachments for the KitchenAid. Like 2 or 3 boxes of just, because like when I got it, when I this was handed down to me, the KitchenAid, it came with a bunch. But when you buy attachments, like the front ones, sometimes if you just want one, you got to buy like 4. It's hard to find just the one. So, or you got to order it, which is kind of pricey. And sometimes what I did with some of them is I just kept the ones I wanted, and then the other ones I just put on eBay in like a package and got rid of. Let's see. Kind of shred that piece. That piece broke off. But we don't need a lot of this mozzarella because we're going to use some tear that up. It was tearing for me yesterday. It's so hot in here though that as soon it's just everything's one. This is already starting to sweat along with me. So we got that. Quite a few people are watching today. That's pretty cool. We're learning how to make the Casey's. Because that pizza, man, I tell you what, Casey's breakfast pizza. And then, like I said, the manager, and you know, since he's the manager at a Casey's, he knows, I totally trust him when he says that this is the #1 selling breakfast pizza in the country. See, you can tell this one. That's shredding a little better. It's more cold. The mozzarella got hot fast. Got warm. There we go. And yeah, I don't know if you guys can see it, but the little pieces of bacon and the cheddar, I thought that would go. I thought, and it did, because like I said, I made this yesterday to kind of work the kinks out of it with the new way I'm doing it. Because this is only the second time I've ever made this. Because I've done this wrong. I figured out a lot of ways not to do this recipe, because I've tried to make this. I don't know how many attempts that I've had in trying to make this, but yesterday was the one that actually worked, and it came out pretty good. Other than I needed to jazz up the the dough taste a little bit, and we did that with our salt and everything else. Let's see here. So we got our cheese done. Cheese is done. And that's probably about, I'd say a half a cup, 3/4 cup of cheese. And we'll get our other bowl and dump that into there. Dump that in. I don't know what size bowls these are. This is exactly that. Or, yeah, it's probably 3/4 cup. I would say 3/4 of a cup of cheese for a 9-inch pizza. So you can do that. Oh, there we go. Some of the neighbors are starting to come around. The neighbor's dog's starting to bark. That barks at everything. Constantly. It's constantly barking at something. There we go. Yeah, Beverly Boyer, good morning, how are you? Thanks for hitting that like button, I appreciate it. What are we doing on those? 20 likes, come on. Come on now. Come on. Let's see. Give our cheese sauce a stir. And then we're gonna, once that's done, we're gonna be ready to get the, we'll be ready to get out the rest of everything else. Get out the dough out and we'll work the dough. And normally with these cast iron, even with my cast iron pans, I don't normally grease the pan, but for this, I am gonna butter it and flour it before I do anything. Because that dough, the yogurt dough that I'm using this morning is really, really super sticky. Get you guys a little closer. There you go. If that's at all possible. There you go. Get you right in here on the only thing the only drawback, and you guys can let me know in the comment section, if I get the camera too close, sometimes the microphone will start cracking. My tech team here needs to step it up a little bit. Definitely need to step it up some. But you want to keep this warm so that it spreads onto the dough. Because if not, it's just going to smear. It's just going to, it'll be a real problem. But you don't want it to be, that's about as hot as I want it. Now I'm going to put it down to #1 and I'm going to let that sit after I stir the milk in. Because the milk, like I said, I get that dairy, my milk from a dairy directly, and it has a really high fat content to it. So I've got to work that cream into there. And away we go. Okay, I think I'm cool with that. Put that down there. And then we'll snap the lid on. And Viola, we are finished. Okay. So then we'll bring over, finished with that. Okay, so now we're gonna get our workspace over to this way a little bit. Now I don't have my pan hot, but I have it warm. And that way I can knock the fuzz off of that. Let me turn my, I don't have my overhead light on either. That might help. So bright, it's so bright this morning I didn't do that. So we'll put that down there. And we're gonna get our dough over. Might even have to move this out just a smidge. But I ordered an island for in my kitchen, and once that gets there, I'll have to put that together. Kind of one of those put it together yourself kind of islands. And once I have the island in here, I'll be able, and the other cameras will be able to do things just a little bit differently. So while this is still warm, and it is warm, but it's not like burning hot, we're going to get a smidge of butter. Get just a little bit of butter on there. There we go. And I should say I got this recipe from a cardiologist. So if you're on a calorie or cholesterol restricted diet, this is definitely one of the healthiest things you can possibly make. Just teasing. This channel is 9 out of 10 cardiologists recommend that you do not watch my channel. So we've got that smeared up there a smidge. There we go. Nice shiny cast iron pan, and I'm using this one with the lip. I have a bunch of other griddles, but these Lodge seem to have a little higher of a lip on them. So we're using the cheese sauce. It kind of collects if the cheese runs out, it sort of stays on it'll stay on the pan and not everywhere else. So we'll just get a little of that, and we'll rub that around. Maybe a little more. Maybe just a little bit more. There we go. Whatever else I don't use, I can just pitch into the air. But I liberally flour this pan. That's really worked out because, like I said, you're dealing with a really, really sticky dough. And the excess, I'm going to knock that off. So anybody's out there saying, oh my God, that's a lot of flour. It is a lot of flour, but I want it to be really floury, to be honest. So let's dump that into the garbage here. The excess that we don't need. I'm just dumping that into the trash. Because even though I save everything, I don't need to save that. Okay, so we've got that floured about like that. Move that off to the side. We're going to flour up our spot to turn our dough into a ball. So we're just going to do that right here. Easy peasy. And I've got the oven heated at 450. And I'm going to pre-bake this for about 2 minutes in there before I put the toppings on. So we've got that. And we got our dough, which looks like that now. If you guys can see that, if it's not too close. And chilling it off is going to make it a little easier to work with if it's sticky, like this is. This is really, really sticky. And that's why we're going to flour the heck out of it. And one of the reasons I didn't use a lot of flour initially. So I'm going to wet my hands and I'm going to throw a little flour onto that. And set this off to the side. Get some of that flour onto there. My hands floured up. There we go. Liberally sprinkle this on there. I know that looks like a lot, but I'm telling you, see how sticky that is already? This is a sticky dough. Oh, and I gotta get my scraper. This is when the cats decide to jump on the counter every time, right? And that's one of the reasons I don't have cats. Cats are cool, but man, they can be a handful. And we're just gonna shape. You can see already that's not the dough structure is real. It's real loose. It's a thin. It's not a tight. So if you were to throw this in the air, you'd literally just be throwing pieces into the air. But it's a great dough if you don't want to spend a lot of time messing around with it. Turn that camera there just a little. Sorry. Sitting there doing what you guys had half of you in the screen and half out, and your dough scraper in there. And I'm only going to use half of this. Like I said, this makes about it makes about, oh my gosh, the heat in here is killing me. It's honestly, the heat in my kitchen is like really insane. Because it's making everything hot and hard to work with. There we go. There we go. And I'm going to cut this in half, roughly. And we're going to get this onto that pan as quick as possible. Because this is just like, the heat in here is just unbearable. It really is. There we go. I'll set that off into the thing. And then we're going to set that off to the side. And then we'll work this dough onto here. There we go. If I can get it off the counter. Yep. My gosh. It is so damn hot in this house. It is just absolutely ridiculous. I should have left the air on. Because it's melting everything. Oh my god, this is pissing me off. God damn it. This is a wreck. It's so hot in here. But I gotta my nose is sticking. Sorry. This is a fucking disaster. This worked exactly perfect yesterday when I had the air on, but I wanted to leave the door open. Oh, shit. Hold on. I gotta wash my hands. Literally, it's like 94 degrees in my kitchen right now, and it's just melting everything. My bad. I did not expect this yesterday when I did this. What a disaster. That dough is just screwed. Yeah. Let's add a little more flour to the dough. I'll use my other piece. And we'll just add a little more flour to that. Because this has just gotten to the point where it's just an absolute disaster. It is so hot in here. So ungodly hot. We'll add a little more of the other dough into that, because I don't think that's going to be as big as the other. Because as soon as I started working that other dough around, the heat from my hands and everything else, it just started melting it. So we'll put a little bit more flour in there and hope for the best. There we go. And we'll shape it up. Yeah, this is just insanity. I'm up to probably, yesterday I used a 1/4 cup extra of flour to do this. Today I'm already over a cup because the heat in here. Plus having the oven heating at 450 is not helping my cause out at all. There we go. We're just going to get it onto the pan and get it into the oven. Work it and smash it down. But yesterday I was able to ball it up and get it into a nice round ball, and it was really, really easy to work with. Let's see here. There we go. This is, hell, I'm just going to, on this, it's just going to be, it's just going to probably just melt onto the pan. There we go. That over there. There we go. That's a little bit better. Yeah, I mean, it's just exactly the humidity, and there's probably, with the humidity outside, it's probably, I'm probably at 90% humidity where I'm at to begin with. There we go. And we'll just shape that down. That dough smells really good though. Sorry to kind of lose my shit there for a minute, but man, that was just a total freaking disaster. I'll just get more flour on my hands here. I tried wetting my hands and that just made the dough wetter. So there we go. Yogurt dough. Let's make our note to ourselves: no yogurt dough in high humidity, because it is not gonna. It's not fun. Let's see here. Get that shaped out. And the nice part about having the extra dough is, if you get little rips or anything like that, you just patch it up with that extra dough that you have off to the side. But the dough smells really good. Really good. Adding the garlic and the Italian seasoning to this really, really helped. Let's see. Get that over there. I'm actually going to fill in that one section with a little of this extra dough. I couldn't imagine trying to use a rolling pin on this right now. This rolled out. This came out so nice yesterday. Actually, it was so nice. If you look at the pictures from the post that I put up, that was the pizza that I made yesterday. That's what I used as my thumbnail. But yeah, as soon as I took this out of the refrigerator, it was just not. Let's see. Make sure that it's not pulling on the edges there. Kind of create a little edge. There we go. Okay. Then we'll get our fork and we'll put some holes in it. After I wash my hands off for the 100th time, we'll get a fork and we'll put the rest of that in there. Let's see here. And make sure you do that. You do put some holes in the bottom so you get an even amount of heat. There we go. Get those holes in there. There we go. Perfect. I'll take that. I'll take that. There we go. All right. Now let's throw that into the oven for about 2 minutes. Wipe the bottom off from all that flour. Get that worked in. We'll check our cheese sauce to see how that's going, because we don't want that to be overheated up. And get that skin on the top. There we go. We can actually turn that down. Turn that off. We'll turn that off. While that sits in there we'll give the timer 3 minutes to heat up. That pan a little preheating. There we go. There we go. That all nice and smooth. What's going on, Beetle? Looking for anything that... Now the dog's on floor cleaning patrol. It's kind of nice. So we'll take this off. I can actually take this off the heat now, and we'll let that cool while that's in there doing its thing. There we go. All right, we'll let that cool off, and we'll just keep mixing on it and check the comment section. Docking the dough. Nice work, buddy. Thank you very much. Nice work on the cheese. Thank you. We'll just let that thicken, sit and cool and thicken a little bit before we pour it on there. So don't have much side to work with, which is, like I said in the beginning, that's why I use the pan with the griddle with the lip, because the cheese sauce can tend to run over. Because I really wanted to use, I've got that Smithy that Greg Hart was so nice to donate to my collection. I wanted to use the smithy on this, but the sides aren't high enough, so I had to make do. I'd use the other one because I thought with the smithy having I love the surface of that smithy being so smooth that I thought it would crisp the bottom up a little bit better. But when I was doing this with the other pans, with the other griddles, and I have a huge collection of griddles. I thought with the higher side griddle that would work a lot better. And even like my Columbus or my Sydney Hollowware, that one has a really low. All those old vintage griddles have really low sides. So we'll get this, and we'll have and that might help my dough. I'm hoping that helps my dough a little bit. Yeah, breakfast pizza. Yeah, that dough is just, oh my gosh, it's so hot. So hot in here. I don't actually even know why I have that door open now at this point. I don't know. I wonder why. Because I just wanted to. I thought it would actually. It was so much nicer here. When I got up this morning, it was 60. It was 65 degrees. It was just absolutely beautiful. When I was out watering the garden, it was absolutely beautiful outside. I fed the birds and did all that. Took the dog around in the backyard for a while, and it was really nice out this morning. So it's kind of. It's not runny. It's not hot and runny, but see how that's doing. Yeah, heat that pan up. Did I turn I actually turned the oven off. Turned the oven off. That's when I was up there messing with that. Boy, this has just been one of those mornings. When I was messing with the eggs, I turned the oven off. Oh well, it's still pretty hot in there. We'll just give this another second to. That'll give this time to thicken up a little bit too. All right, done messing. I'm messing with that. Oh, somebody in here named Egghead. That's pretty cool. All right, so there we go. Move over to about where that is. We'll let that sit on the trivet for a minute while the oven heats up. Which you give that'll be nice for that pan to heat up too. So we'll just have a few seconds of staring at some cheese. That'll be good. Everybody likes cheese, right? Everybody loves cheese. Should be great. Yeah, that dough just really I put a hitch in the system here this morning. Let me move some of this stuff out of the way. And it wasn't near as big of a mess either yesterday. Like, it was so easy to throw this stuff together because we've been working at this an hour and a half. Oh geez, well, Pete, I can't believe it's an hour and a half into this. As I did it yesterday, I would say that it was probably, I'd probably been eating hot pizza about this time, that amount of time. There we go. Saria. In there. Okay. Good morning. Good morning to you. William Hurt, what's going on, buddy? I didn't see you sneak in. Probably during my absolute disaster that was going on there for a second. But once that heats up, we'll go to 450 and we'll be rocking and rolling again. Move some of this stuff out of my way. Actually, everything that's out here, I need it for the most part, other than all this flour that's on my counter, which I could kind of wipe up right quick while I'm thinking about it. We'll get that wiped off. I don't know, cooking in real life. Boy. Fun stuff. I told Chaos he could keep this gas over there, and I think I inherited it this week. Move that over there. Wipe this stuff off. There we go. And the one time my mom's watching, that's even the funnier part. Usually these go fairly smooth. I mean, for cooking in real life. These tend to go pretty well, but not today. Sometimes you gotta, kind of like when this is why Kent Rollins doesn't do live live cooking, because he lives like, I think, in Oklahoma or somewhere where it's like constant 70 to 80 mile an hour winds, as I'm here in the Midwest with my ridiculous humidity that we've had all summer that's absolutely wrecked my garden. Now wrecked my dough. This heat has been something else. I don't know how people like that live in like Las Vegas and places like that. I don't know how they do it. Arizona, and deal with that heat all the time. But so if you live out in those places, you have my undivided respect, because I absolutely couldn't do it. But I'm gonna pull this kitchen down. Even if the fans bother people and they can't hear everything or they think it sounds weird, I'm gonna turn them on, because it's just ridiculously hot in here. There we go. Enough is enough. All right. All we got. It's a dry heat, not a humid heat. There's a difference. There'd have to be a difference, because I don't know how anybody does it, because it's like 90. It's 90 something. It's about 80. It's probably about 80, 85 out right now. But it is absolutely ungodly humid. There we go. Okay. So I think our crust has been in there long enough. And we'll swap that out. There we go. Move that around to there. And we'll give our cheese another real quick stir. Give that a quick stirring up. And I think that might have done us some good to put that in there for a second. I actually want to try and go around the edges and make sure that it's not, because it's buttered and floured, and I normally don't do either one. Yeah, we should. I'm hoping that we'll be all right, that it doesn't stick into there. It's already still sticking onto that. There we go. You ever take Biggs to visit Grandma? No, the dog is too much for my mom. She is like way too much. Because the Biggs is, you guys see the Biggs when she's here with me and she's being cool, and I can walk her down the street and she's not reactive to like other dogs or whatever, cats, but she is super reactive to people. And as soon as she sees anybody, she's like, that's my new best friend. I want to jump all over you. I want to, you know, and she's a hunting dog. I mean, essentially she's a hunting dog. So she has, you know, I'm constantly having to clip her nails. She has really sharp teeth. She's like a baby shark. And, you know, for people, and that's one of the reasons that I ended up with the dog, because there was a lot of people that she went through. By the time she was 10 weeks old, she had went through 10, 11 weeks older when I got the Biggs. She had went through 2 homes. I was their 3rd home in 10, 11 weeks, because she was just too much. She was, you know, she's real bitey with people. She jumps up and she wants to check everything out. You know, she wants to do all that, and she wants to be like that. And she's hard to deal with, to say the least. She's a great dog. I enjoy her. We sat and played ball all night last night, ran around and did stuff and whatever, but she's not good for, she's even not good for little kids. Little kids, like, they come up to try and pet her, and they're like, can I pet they do the whole, can I pet your dog kind of thing, and I have to tell them, like, man, no, you can't pet her, because she'll end up, she'll scratch him. She'll scratch him up, jumping on him, and she's cat quick, you know. Man, this is a freaking disaster. This cheese, now the cheese is, oh my goodness. This is just becoming a complete mess, because the dough is now sticking to the cheese. and it's not wanting me to let me spread it. God, this worked out. I should have done this live yesterday because it would have worked out really well. Because everything went together so nicely, but that dough is just total crap. The dough is just, it's too humid for this dough to be super transparent because it's sticking to everything. Oh well, we're just gonna put it together, hope for the best, and see what happens. Because really, at this point, there's nothing worse that could happen. It's absolutely a disaster. So we're just gonna chunk it on, put it where it needs to go, put it to the edges, and call it a day. There we go. And I had such high hopes for this video too. Really high hopes. But that's just not gonna happen. This is not gonna spread. This is too hot. It's too humid for this. So we'll throw our eggs on. Everything else came out really nice. We'll hope that it kind of... One of the things about this is, though, using that kind of cheese, is that it does spread, so I'm going to hope that it does, like, move its way out a little bit. That was one thing I noticed about it. So hopefully that happens. That happens here. Because I'm just to the point with this of just, like, not down with it. I cannot believe the amount of moisture that this dough picked up. It's just so much, it's so much different than yesterday. So much different than yesterday. And all the other stuff came out, that's exactly where I wanted everything else. The sausage looks good. The cheese was where I wanted it. But we're just gonna say enough's enough and put this in the oven. And have a cup of coffee. Just call it a day. Oh. Let's see. There's a lot of stuff on there. That's a good healthy pizza. Get that cheese on there. Cheese even. There we go. Get our bacon mozzarella mix onto there. The oven should be heated up enough. But there we go. And hopefully it doesn't stick. That's the biggest part. This came off so nicely yesterday. Came over so nice. Just slid right off the pan onto the cutting board. And that was it. There we go. Move that around. There we go. I'll eat that piece. Because I'm getting hungry. That was the other thing. I thought by now I'd be full and done. But let's get this thing into the oven and hope for the best. There we go. Down on the bottom, putting it onto the bottom rung, if that makes any difference at this point. There we go. I guess since this kind of worked out so oddly, now I'm eating bacon right now. Good work, sir. Thank you, Bloodford. I appreciate it. Oh my God, goodness. We're gonna make some fancy coffee. I need the coffee up here. I need to re-coffee myself. Alright. Get our other cutting board out that we're actually going to cut on if the pizza actually comes out of the oven. And we're going to make coffee. There we go. Coffee cup out. That I thought was already out. That done. We're gonna have a nice coffee and forget about all that. It's ice. This is one of those where I should have made It's so hot in here. I should have made ice cream floats. That's what I should. That's what I should have been. We should have been having root beer floats this morning instead of pizza. Yeah. Is there any comments going on? I'm sure everybody's jumping off this ship like rats on a sinking ship. I don't blame anybody. I do not blame anybody at all. We'll have a nice iced coffee, and while that's in there, as I forgot to put the timer on. Put that in there for. We'll check it at 12 minutes. There we go. All right. After all said and done, I'd still eat that. You know, it's probably still going to be good. It's just it's one of those things where the process. This was so easy to do yesterday. Like I can't reiterate that enough, that it was just so easy to put together. And I really like, and be honest, and I'm sticking, and I'll die on this hill, I still like that yogurt dough. It's easy. It's usually really easy to work with, but it was my fault for trying to keep the door open, because I thought it would just, you know, I thought honestly that it would heat up the house less to do it that way than to do it this way. There we go. Let's do a little. I think I'm going to do some cold foam with this as well. I think since I'm already, take a little sip. I think a morning like this deserves some cold foam with a little bit of sugar in it. Now I will say this, that the cold foam with whole farm dairy milk does not always foam that great, but I think that be damned the weather here. I'm going full speed ahead. A little coconut extract in there. A little bit of that. And I'm going sugar today. Just a smidgen of sugar. There we go. And foam that up. And a nice frothy milk. There we go. All right. Ooh, that smells good. I love putting that coconut extract into my cold foam, into coffee. Period. So I forget what I'm using. I'm using Community brand coffee, and this is the flavor is king cake, and I'm really digging on the king cake flavor. Maybe that's what I'll change my. That's what I'll change. I'll go from honey badger to king cake. That sounds pretty awesome. There we go. That looks foamy. Foamy enough. There we go. There we go. I got cream. I got whipped cream on the top from all the fat content. I have whipped cream on the top, and the rest of the milk separated. So that's kind of cool. Let's see. Anybody here? I'm having cappuccino as we speak. Nice. Isn't there a rule about in Italy, like they really look down on people that have, like if you come, they can tell if you're a foreigner if you have cappuccino after noon. Isn't it like cappuccino in the morning and espresso in the afternoon? Isn't that how that works? Community coffee is good. Yeah, I had a somebody who follows me sent me a thing about community coffee, and I gave it a try. I'd never had it. I've always used Don Francisco, is what I've always used. for years and years. And good old-fashioned Maxwell House. That's my house coffee. It is good, and it did make it did kind of make a little whipped cream on the top. Good job, dairy cows. So I got that going for me. There we go. We're on the recovery right now, and I got to keep an eye on this pizza because with all that cheese, it could definitely burn. We don't want that. The crust is actually it's actually rising nice. If I'd get you guys in there, but it's kind of hard to angle it. And I think the screen would actually, if I angled it off the setting that I have it on right now, I think it would go dark. Community coffee, yeah, but community coffee, man, I'm definitely down. I want to try some of the other flavors now. That I have this. I like Bustelo and what is that? Polan? Bustelo and Polan. Is that how, am I saying that right? Polan? Let's just kind of read some of the comments here while we're waiting on that. It's got about 6 minutes. 6 minutes in the oven. Yeah, okay, good. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I'll have to keep my eye out for that one. Yeah, I'm sucking this thing down. I'm thirsty. Yeah, I can definitely tell. I turned the central air on and turned the fan on in here. Get some air movement going on. I don't know. Turn the overhead fan on. Let's check out the likes. Oh, we're doing pretty good. Everybody, if you're out there in the stratosphere, if you could hit the like button and the subscribe if you're like wanting to see how not to make how not to make breakfast pizza. Okay, if you want, this has like been the best endorsement for Casey's ever. To just order pizza from Casey's. Just get your pizza there. It makes sense a lot better. That's funny. How not to make pizza dough in high humidity. Don't use but boy, that it's so frustrating because it worked out so well yesterday. Like I couldn't believe how well that the pizza came out. And I was really excited to add the Italian seasoning and the garlic to the dough this morning. I really was into that. Let's get some parchment paper up for this, because this is where we'll cut the pizza up here and get that going. The other dough went together so nice that I actually balled it up and put it into the freezer. It was that and the other thing that now that I'm looking back at it, I think the other thing too is that was the bottom of the container, so there was a lot more whey in it as well. So that probably didn't help me out with how to do that. I could have strained off that whey and let's see, but I have to go. Oh, yeah, Mercy B, you can always check out the very end of it. You can come back and hit the replay if you want to see how it comes out. I'm pretty interested to see how it comes out too. Yeah, it's starting to cloud, and it's starting to cloud up here as well. I think it looks like it's getting ready to rain, which I didn't check. The one thing I didn't check this morning was the weather. I've been kind of busy doing other stuff. Let's see, gotta go, gang. One hit in the estate sale down the road. Yeah, good luck with that, William. Definitely, I don't blame you for that one. If you pick up anything, let us know next Thursday, where I'm going to be making ice cream floats probably next Thursday. I think that's where we're at. It's rainy here too. Yeah, it's been great here all weekend. I mean, it's been fantastic weather. Yesterday it wasn't near as hot. It's probably gonna rain. That's probably why the humidity is so bad. And actually, we got to check out the moon last night. The moon here, right at moonrise, it was huge orange rain, or huge orange moon last night. And I'd say the pizza's got about 1 more minute. I'm actually going to knock the time of it off just a smidge, because I think we're honestly ready for the pizza to come out. So there is light at the end of this tunnel. There we go. Trying to check with the comments here, getting caught up. But yeah, I'm going to give this about, I'd say here, just this, like literally a minute at the most. Isabel Whitney says hi. Hello, Isabel. How are you this morning? We're getting ready to break out the pizza. You're here just in time. So hi back. Join the chat, as they say. Let's check this. Yeah, I think we're good. I'd say from the top of the pizza and the way it smells, I think we're done. And yesterday's pizza, I'm sure this one's going to be floppy, but yesterday there was absolutely no flop in on the crust when I did this. So turn that off, turn everything else off, and we'll get our oven mitt around and break out the pizza, because that's where we're at. There we go. There we go. Just want to I'm going to put a trivet down on that. There we go. Just not to scorch the top of the. There we go. That looks pretty good. Actually, I'm going to say, move the camera back just a little bit. I actually think that this might, as long as we don't get any stick to it. Oh, I got to adjust my camera a little bit to take it back. Yeah, it is rad. It is pretty rad. Get a good picture of that. There we go. I think the guy looks pretty good. I think it does. I'll take that. Okay. So let's move the trivet, and then we'll try and put that onto the. Boy, that is not my favorite. That is not my favorite oven mitt. I can tell you that. There we go. I like that. I always like these leather baseball mitts. There we go. Slide that out onto there. Without sliding it all the way off of the cutting board. There we go. No stick. So I will take that and we'll cut it up. There we go. But I think we're going to have a floppy crust this time. But that's just the way that's going to be. Here we go. See, we have floppy crust. No, we didn't have floppy crust. Cool. Very cool. Cut that up a little bit more. And one more time. And we'll get some little pieces there. There we go. And there. There we go. Not too bad. I think we pulled it off. Humidity or no humidity, I think we pulled this off. Get out my fine china. Get out the fine china here. Move that back out of the way. There we go. Should have moved that. I was moving everything else. Put this down here. There we go. Got a piece for me. Hey, Radagast, how are you, buddy? Good to see you. Yeah. We had some debacles along the way, but this is why YouTubers, you get to see the real deal here. Oh man, yeah, that is all right. You guys see that okay? Can you guys see that? Yeah, that actually, I mean, it came out. Sticky dough or not, it came out really, really well. Now this is where I burned my face off. Yeah, that's really good. That's actually super, super good. Wow, still here and didn't send me a slice. You're more than welcome to show up. Let's try this egg piece here. Try it with a big piece of egg on it. It's my pizza. I can take out different chunks if I want. Give it a taste. And I did. I probably didn't say it because I'm just now thinking about it. I did pop that up to 500 to do the pizza, since the dough had so much moisture in it that I did pop it up to 500, and we did that about, I'd say it was about 15 minutes. But yeah. Yeah, that's super good. Super, super good. No flop. Yeah, that's hitting. Even with the crust being as hard to work with as it was, due to the humidity, from disaster to master. Yeah, that's yeah, this came out. And 1 second. The that crust, that really did help. That really did help putting that little bit of Italian seasoning into there. Maybe I should have sprinkled some Italian seasoning on the top of that. I definitely should have done that. Oh well. Yeah, bread, it was, Val, this dough came together so nicely yesterday and was so easy to work with. 30 minutes, I was done. It was pressed onto the griddle. It was in, it was out. I did it at 450 for 14 minutes, and it was, oh no, 475 I did it at yesterday, 475 for 14 minutes, and it came out great. But to be really transparent and super honest, that's Casey's breakfast bacon breakfast pizza. That's it. That the flavor's there. I mean, it's things that I've tried to recreate and done on the channel. I'd say that's as close to something that I've actually done. I would say that's the closest thing that I've gotten to actually taste like the actual product that they make. This is like 100% on point. To the point where I can't stop eating it. I'm in Metro Atlanta. Oh, you're in Metro Atlanta. I got you. Yeah, I'm in the what's up, my Brooke? Al said hi. Hello, how are you? Good to see you. Wherever you may be. But the one thing that's missing is something cold to drink. So let me grab, I gotta get something out of the fridge here. All right, there we go. So, because it's not breakfast with pizza from a gas station without an energy drink. Peach Vibe's not my favorite, but it'll work. Nice glass of milk. I just had some iced coffee, and that just wasn't really hitting with pizza for me. But yeah, I'm completely amazed that that's Casey's breakfast pizza right there. I mean, it was a pain in the ass to get to this point, but boy, it actually did it. A nice barley pop. Yeah, that would, yeah. I've never enjoyed beer and pizza together. Oddly enough, and I don't shy away from beer, but I've never liked that combination. And I think it's because when I was a little kid, my dad used to play in pool tournaments, and we would play in these bars, in this one certain like bar pizza place, and they always had it, and my dad let me try it when I was a little kid, and I didn't like it. And I think that's why I've never liked it since. Yeah, let's flip it over and take a look. Yeah, the bottom came out pretty decent. I mean, it's not like, one bite everybody knows. It's not New Haven. But yeah, I should have done the one bite everybody knows the rules. It's the second time I've done a pizza video and I haven't done that. But scoring it with as far as a breakfast pizza goes, my scoring, I'd say it's an 8. Yeah, it's real crispy. I mean, I don't know if you guys can hear me crunching it, but well. Do I have a cast iron pizza stone? That sounds like a riddle. Cast iron pizza stone. Is there such a thing as a pizza stone? I have pizza pans. I've got a 16-inch round griddle, and I've got the Lodge pizza pan, and yeah, that's usually what I use for like regular pizzas. Is that Biggs, you want to try a piece? Piece of crust? There you go. Alright. Modella is one of my favorites. Yeah, that's not bad. I like Modella Negra a lot. I think it's good. I like the Especial. I like that one as well. There's a lot, yeah. Modella's good. It's not bad. I'll make one more piece of this and we're going to get off here. Save the crusty pieces for the dog. Because I don't know if... I don't want to give her too much of this. Yesterday she was eating the dough, but this has got Italian seasoning in it. I don't know what all I can give her of that. Plus she had bacon earlier. You guys just coming in, she had bacon. When I cut the bacon up for the topping, she had that. I don't want to give her too much. Yeah. Let's see. One second. Yeah, I have a griddle that I use for pizza and biscuits, so perfect. Yeah, that's what I don't know if you saw, I don't know if you were in or not. I used the Lodge round griddle, the 9-inch, and made a personal pizza. I used this one. It's actually still sitting right here. I used the 9-inch round griddle. And the dough amount had the dough have worked out right, the dough would have, I could have cut it in half. Because the dough makes about 14 to a 16-inch pizza, the amount of dough that I made. So I just cut it in half and then I work it out on that 9-inch round griddle. And that seems to work out really well. But yeah, this, I mean, essentially, this is Casey's breakfast. I just can't get over it, honestly, how much it tastes like that. Like almost identical. Excuse me, I have my mouth full. Now, Val, are you spelling stowers right? Or stows, or did you mean Strohs? Because Strohs, I used to, don't they make Strohs still? They still make Strohs. I think that was the original 30 pack, the original 15 and 30 packs. Yeah, I think they make Strohs. I think they still do. You know what I had the other day that I kind of cursed the Reds? The other, what was it? Wednesday, was it Wednesday? Wednesday I got Old Style beer. If you guys ever remember Old Style, I haven't seen it forever, but I got it. They started bringing it around here, so I got some Old Style, and then the Reds were playing the Cubs, and then I found out that that's what they serve at Wrigley Field, where the Cubs and Reds were. So I was listening to the Reds game while I was drinking Cubs beer. No wonder they lost. It was my fault. Oh, you're not able to get it there anymore? Yeah, I think we still have it. That's one thing about where I live, man. I can get like almost any beer. If they make it, it's here. Like we get I was at the grocery store a couple weeks ago and I saw they still had Olympia. They had Genesee Cream Ale. I think they still had Jenny Cream. Rolling Rocks, Yingling. Live in Google, we get everything. I haven't seen a Stroh's beer down here in a long time. Yeah, I don't know, but I hear that a lot. Like, you know, I don't know. Ohio's full. We drink a lot of beer in Ohio. People drink here. There's a lot of and you know, especially like in my area, it's a big vacation spot where I'm at. So we get. I mean, they have a big selection. William, you got to go. I get you, man. 100%. Which? Oh my gosh, it's 1 o'clock. You did tons of research on which beer goes with pizza. Many hours of beer can see. Yeah, I like Foster's green labels. I think we get the blue. We get Foster's blue can here. The oil cans. We get the oil cans. Yeah, have a good day, William. Thanks for showing up. We'll see you Thursday, hopefully. Yeah, we get the blue. We get the Foster's blue can here. I don't know. Maybe we do get green. I've never looked for it. I get Foster's every once in a great while. If I'm at the lake, I'll get a Foster's. Let's see. Catching up with everything. But yeah, it's 1 o'clock, so I'm gonna probably jump off here in just a second too. So I did not think this was. I thought I was gonna have to stretch it for an hour and a half. I did not think I'd be getting into 2 hours worth of pizza dough disaster. I'm really surprised. Anyway, and I'm sure everybody's kind of probably done looking at my plate. So we'll have the little beaks cam. We'll get her to do a spin, and then we'll get on everybody out of here. You got to go over here. If you want this, you got to get over in your spot. You got to go to the spin area, the stunt area. If I can get through here without knocking everything over. Here, come here. Let me spin. Say see you guys Thursday. All right. I'm going to get out of here. Thanks everybody for showing up. Thanks for watching the dough debacle of 2025, and I'll see you guys Thursday in the comments section. All right, see you.